From the Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.
On News Hour tonight, 14 people dead, 5 injured in Bauchi auto crash. President Buhari receives Tinubu at presidential villa amid Jumat prayers. Federal government declares Monday, May 1st, public holiday to mark Workers' Day. And on the foreign scene, head of East African Peacekeeping Force in Democratic Republic of Congo resigns. Hello and welcome to News Hour on Trust TV. I am Sagir Ibrahim. Thanks for joining us. Now to details. No fewer than 14 persons lost their lives in a ghastly motor accident at Zangoro village along Bauchi-Darazo Road. The sector commander, Federal Road Safety Corps in Bauchi State, Yusuf Abdullahi, disclosed this in a road traffic crash report on Thursday in Bauchi. He said 5 other persons sustained varying degrees of injuries in the crash, which occurred on Thursday. According to him, the accident involved one Golf 3 wagon, one private Chevrolet car. The commander attributed the crash to speed violation, adding that personnel of the Corps cleared the scene of the accident, as well as recovered 73,000 naira, 7 phones, 1 power bank, and 4 small handbags. Abdullahi said the corpses of the deceased and the injured had been referred to the Abubakar Tafawa Balewa Teaching Hospital, Bauchi, for medical attention and identification. Trust TV's Adamu Imam, who is in Bauchi, now gives us an update.
The fatal crash involving a Golf 3 wagon with a private car Chevrolet at about 12:17 hours yesterday along Zangoro village on busy Bauchi-Darazo Federal Highway. According to the sector commandant of the Federal Road Safety Corps, Yusuf Abdullahi, 19 people were involved in the accident. 14 were confirmed dead, while the other 5 sustained various degrees of injuries. Shortly after some minutes of the incident, the personnel of the Corps arrived at the scene, which they evacuated them to the Abubakar Tafawa Balewa Teaching Hospital for medical examination, which he says the remaining victims are responding to treatment. So also, the sector commandant also confirmed the cause of the accident, says as a result of high speed. The items were recovered belonging to the victim at the scene was about 73,000 naira cash, 7 cell phone, power bank, and 4 handbags.
Also, the Plateau State Police Commissioner Bartholomew Onyeka on Friday visited the scene of the tanker explosion that occurred around Bauchi Junction of Joth North local government area of the state. Trust TV had on Thursday reported that 13 people were killed while several others were injured in the incident. Vehicles, tricycles, and shops were also burnt during the incident, as Ado Musa reports.
Aside the casualty figure recorded from the incident, motorists were left stranded due to the gridlock that followed the explosion. After the incident, hoodlums in their numbers blocked the Jos Bauchi Road, accusing firefighters of arriving late to the scene. This made some motorists to make a U-turn to avoid being trapped in the gridlock. While assessing the level of damage caused by the explosion, the police commissioner explained how the incident occurred.
When we got information of a trailer that is loaded with diesel coming from the town and heading to Bauchi axis. So on getting to this Bauchi junction, the front side of the truck went off.
The commissioner also gives an update on the casualty figure from the incident.
And about 13 persons that were burnt beyond recognition also. And 10 people that were injured have been taken to various hospitals in the state for medical attention.
The police commissioner, however, condemned the attack on FRSC officials, whose vehicles were destroyed and burnt during the rescue operation.
Rescue people, take them to hospital. But instead, people resorted to attacking them. What do we gain from all these kind of things? It is not good. Please, we want to call on the good people of Plateau State. This is not a good one. This is not good at all. And we should all condemn it. Because this will not take us to anywhere. We are working around the clock, ensuring the entire state is protected. And people are there by the side trying to create more problems for us. It is not fair. Let us at least for once try to be law abiding in whatever condition or situation we find ourselves. Now, what have they succeeded in doing? Have they now rescued those of them that were burnt, or those that were taken to the hospitals? So it's not a good one. Please, let us call on the religious leaders, the stakeholders in the state.
The commissioner, however, called on religious and community leaders to prevail on their word to avoid criminal activities, which he said would not take anybody anywhere. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
Still on the Plateau tanker explosion, the state governor-elect Caleb Mutfwang has commiserated with families who lost their loved ones in the Thursday tanker explosion in Jos. Mutfwang, in a statement signed by Gyang Bere, special assistant on media to the governor-elect on Friday, expressed sadness over the incident that also led to loss of properties worth millions of naira. The governor-elect assured citizens of the incoming administration's commitment to restructuring the state towards providing more roads for free flow of traffic in Jos and its environs. Also, the police command in Gombe State has arrested a 30-year-old man, Adamu Baje, for alleged kidnapping. The spokesman of the command, Mahid Muazu, stated this while parading the suspect on Thursday in Gombe. He said the suspect allegedly kidnapped two persons, Fatuma Buba and Manu Adamu, both residents of Nafada town in Nafada local government area of the state. He said the operatives also recovered 7 cows, 4 donkeys, 19 sheep, 10 goats, 1 Techno cell phone, a chain and a padlock at the suspect's hideout. The spokesman said the victim had been referred to a hospital for medical attention. And also, the federal government has declared Monday, 1st of May, as a public holiday to mark this year's Workers' Day celebration. The Minister of Interior, Ogbeni Rauf Aregbesola, made the declaration on behalf of the federal government. He congratulated workers across the country on this year's celebration. Aregbesola commended workers for their hard work, diligence, and sacrifice, noting that their efforts are largely responsible for the greatness of the country and the respect Nigeria now commands in the Committee of Nations. He therefore enjoined workers to imbibe the culture of productivity, saying the end of work is productivity. Also, ahead of the International Workers' Day, which is usually celebrated on May 1st worldwide, the Apex Labour Union in the country, the Nigeria Labour Congress (NLC), has organized a pre-May Day lecture themed Workers' Rights and Socio-Economic Justice. Noel Sampson was there for Trust TV and now reports.
There are 4 interrelated principles of human rights and social justice, which are equity, access, participation, and rights. The fact that many may not be aware of this underscores the importance of the intellectual activity scheduled ahead of the May Day celebration.
It's straightforward. Workers' rights is what the struggle is about. Socio-economic justice is the expectation at the end of that struggle. So it's to check where are we, where do we expect to go, what is the process or our capability to get to that point. So how can we come together to give clear thoughts to the process that can lead us to ensuring socio-economic justice in the world of work, in our community, in our country, while protecting the rights of the worker, even outside the world of work.
The guest lecturers highlighted the significance of a welfare state when it comes to protecting the rights of workers, and the importance of investing in people.
3 areas of missing gaps. Sometimes these rights are not well articulated, clear. Some of them are vague and are scored back. Second is that the political economy frustrates effective enforcement of these rights. So I have argued that for workers to have very efficient access or enjoyment of these rights, effective, they need to have a welfare state. A welfare state is a state whose fundamental ideology and values and processes focuses on the well-being of the people.
The means of production provide the basis of dominance of one group by another. In this case, workers are dominated. You generate wealth, you produce, yet you have no control over what you produce. And one way this has been solved in some countries is that the public institutions that provide this basis of dominance should be socialized. Labour Congress must insist that henceforth, any public institution that will be privatized, workers must be involved in the decision process of privatizing most of these things. Because it's a commonwealth. It's the right of Nigerian citizens. And then when they are selling these public institutions, workers must also have a share.
Without human rights, there can be no sustained peace, stability, protection from harm, nor equality, democracy, and a space to speak up. Noel Samson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Moving on, President Muhammadu Buhari on Friday flagged off the construction of a Center of Excellence for Environmental Restoration in Ogoniland, Rivers State. The president also laid the foundation for the Ogoni Power Project and a 100-bed specialist hospital in Wiakara, Kana local government area of Rivers State. Buhari, who joined the groundbreaking ceremony virtually, said the projects are in fulfillment of his administration's pledge to provide succor for years of environmental degradation in Ogoni land. The projects, which are components of the Ogoni cleanup exercise, are part of federal government's effort to turn around socio-economic life of Ogoni people who have suffered years of environmental pollution. Addressing the event virtually, President Buhari commended Ogoni people for supporting the cleanup of oil-impacted communities, which he flagged off in 2016. He noted that the 3 projects affirms the commitment of the federal government in addressing environmental issues in Ogoni land in line with the United Nations Environment Report on Ogoni land. The Minister of Environment, Mohammed Abdullahi, flagged off the projects on behalf of the President, just as Ogoni youths promised to provide the needed support to ensure the completion of the 3 critical projects. The historic flag-off was attended by Ogoni traditional rulers, opinion leaders, youths, and women. Also, the All Progressives Congress, APC, says it is yet to zone the leadership of the 10th National Assembly to any region. In a statement by its National Publicity Secretary, Felix Moka, the party said its attention has been drawn to versions of zoning arrangements for the 10th National Assembly leadership positions in circulation in sections of the social media. According to the brief communique, the APC said such zoning arrangements did not emanate from the party and as such should be disregarded. The party further noted that any decisions made in this regard will be duly communicated via the party's official information channels. Also, as the inauguration of President-elect Bola Tinubu rapidly approaches, stakeholders of the All Progressives Congress are setting agenda for the incoming administration. A stakeholder in Taraba State, Ambassador Musa Mohammed Soken, believes the new president has the capacity to put together a cabinet that would impact positively on the country. Ambassador Soken expects that the cabinet should be made up of professionals, but suggests that persons like George Akume, Nasir El-Rufai should be included so that they could use their experience and goodwill to rally Nigerians round the new government.
Professionalism comes into play. Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is a kind of person that has all that it takes. He has all the apparatus to select the best people You can see his selection of his vice president. He selects his based on merit. And if you see in the north, definitely there are people like His Excellency Senator Dr. George Akume. George Akume, after serving as a permanent secretary, which is the highest rank in the civil servant, the people of Benue State call on him to dispatch that his experience and capacity to them in Benue State to serve as the governor, where he was elected 2 times as the governor of Benue State, after which they deemed it fit to again re-elect him to serve as a senator in Benue State for up to 3 consecutive times of 12 years. It was based on his own capacity, his experience, and his antecedents, and his people believe in him. So if these kind of people that have such experience will rally around His Excellency Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu, I'm telling you, Nigeria is going to record the best administration we ever had in this country.
You're watching News Hour on Trust TV. Still to come, we take a look at why FCT residents prefer second-hand products. This and more when we return. Welcome back. You're watching News Hour on Trust TV. Now recap of our major stories. 14 people dead, 5 injured in Bauchi auto crash. President Buhari receives Tinubu at presidential villa amid Jumat prayers. Moving on to other stories, the Gombe State Command of the Nigeria Police has arrested 9 suspected criminals over alleged kidnapping, criminal conspiracy, armed robbery, and possession of illegal firearms. Parading the suspects at the Gombe State Command headquarters on Thursday, the police public relations officer in the state, Mahid Muazu Abubakar, said 2 kidnapped victims were rescued and hurt. Ibrahim Ismail reports.
These suspects are alleged masterminds of various offenses, including kidnapping, criminal conspiracy, attempts to commit culpable homicide, and armed robbery. The police command said it has made significant progress in curbing crime while protecting lives and properties across the state.
Police operatives swung into action using intelligence platform performed traced the hideouts of the suspected kidnappers on the 19th of April 2023. The tactical teams in collaboration with hunters raided the kidnappers' den where they successfully arrested the above suspects and rescued the 2 victims unhurt. The exhibits recovered include 7 cows, 4 donkeys, 19 sheep, 10 goats, 1 techno handset, chain and padlock.
20-year-old Abdul Majid Muhammad of Hayin Kwarim Misau was arrested on allegations of armed robbery. Residents of Hayin Kwarim Misau accused the suspect of breaking into 6 houses using cutlasses and knives to rob his victims.
I theft
the phone to get some money to buy clothes for Salah. I raided about 3 houses in our neighborhood and stole people's phones while they were asleep.
10
mobile phones were recovered by the police. Danjuma Kabiru is one of the lucky victims whose phones were recovered from the suspect. I noticed that the man was bleeding while he took my phones in the night. I used that to track him. His neighbor also confirmed that. I recovered 1 phone from the 3 phones he took from me.
Leaders
of Hayin Kwarim Misau who lamented the high rate of robbery in the community are relieved following the arrest of the suspect, who they describe as a notorious criminal in the area.
We come to realize that most of the activity being carried out there are from within. That is children of the dwellers of that environment. So we try to feed them one after the other out.
The suspects are expected to be arraigned in court for trial as soon as the police conclude their investigations. While restating its determination to fight crime, the Gombe Command called for continuous collaboration from residents. Ibrahim Ismail, Trust TV News, Gombe.
Also, President Muhammadu Buhari has received the President-elect Bola Tinubu at the State House. The outgoing and incoming presidents prayed together at the presidential mosque on Friday, after which the President-elect departed without speaking to the media. Earlier, Buhari also received Governor Yahya Bello of Kogi State. Tinubu's visit to Buhari comes less than 24 hours after the president argued the opposition's defeat in the February 25th presidential election as a result of overconfidence. He added that the ruling All Progressives Congress, on the other hand, blended confidence with caution, saying they worked hard and won. While receiving the Progressive Governors Forum led by the chairman, Governor Atiku Bagudu of Kebbi State, President Buhari said they were already telling their foreign backers that they would defeat the APC. And also, the Joint Admissions and Matriculations Board, JAMB, is conducting the Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examinations for the blind and other disabled persons in Jos, the capital of Plateau State. According to the board, the exam is organized for the disabled persons to enable them have equal opportunity with other candidates. Ado Musa reports.
These are 20 blind and disabled candidates who are writing the 2023 UTME at the Jos Center, located at the University of Jos, through what is called Equal Opportunity Group. The Equal Opportunity Group was initiated by JAMB to give opportunity to blind and other disabled persons to participate in the UTME like other normal candidates. Professor Nasir Maiturari, coordinator of Equal Opportunity Group, Jos Center, further explains why the JAMB came up with the initiative.
Examination, is challenging on its own. And when candidates, have certain disabilities, it becomes doubly challenging. And especially, in countries like Nigeria, whereby students, from their secondary schools, do not usually have, excellent opportunities, for when they have disabilities. It has always impeded against the performance of such candidates. And so in 2017, the current registrar of JAMB, Professor Isaac Oloede, came up with this initiative, that is JAMB Equal Opportunity Group, to create a level playing field, for candidates with disabilities.
Some of the candidates also speak on the exercise.
I'm grateful to JAMB for organizing this special treatment for persons living with disability, the visually impaired people. I'm grateful to them for the hospitality, the preferential treatment.
I am so much impressive for the examination we have written thus far, beginning yesterday and today. And then the examination moved well, and we thank God for the examination.
The exams is well arranged. Although it is my first time to start writing JAMB, I've never witnessed the other terms as passed. But this time around, good provision of the readers that they provide for us. So I want to appreciate JAMB for providing this type of people.
The candidate also suggests ways to improve the process.
Okay, yes, I would want them to reduce the cutoff mark for persons living with disability from 300 to maybe 220 or 230, so that we can be able to get the scholarships. And then they should give us the courses that we applied for instead of giving us a different course.
Yes, there's a lot of improvement that I want JAMB to do. I want JAMB now to ensure that when we finish writing the JAMB like this, and then institution that we apply, JAMB should give us high attention in helping us so that the institution can be able to offer us the admission and then the course we want to study.
In terms of reading, I observed that several novels that we have in literature, we don't have it in Braille. And even though that we have it in Braille, some of us, they can't read Braille perfectly. So if possible, I would like JAMB to provide all these novels through audio, so that somebody that cannot read Braille, he can be able to play, or through his phone or some devices like recorder. He will be listening and understanding.
About 360 blind and disabled candidates are expected to write this year's UTME at 11 centers across the country to enable them enroll for higher education. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
Also, people of Azare Katagum local government area of Bauchi State have identified blockage of waterways as a major problem that needs to be addressed as part of early preparation to mitigate flooding and avert the 2022 devastating effects. They expressed their concern to Trust TV while reacting to the early commencement of the wet season. Trust TV's Adamu Imam reports. We'll bring that report to you subsequently. Moving on, the need to raise awareness on the importance of creating a safe and healthy work environment for all workers was the focus of an event to mark this year's World Safety Day in Katsina. The event, put together by the Nigeria Social Insurance Trust Fund, NSITF, had in attendance workers from different sectors, safety experts, and government officials. Jamil Mabai has more.
And healthier workforce, reduced accident costs, reduced absenteeism, increased productivity.
The celebration kicked off with a safety walk, which saw participants from various organizations march through the streets of Katsina. The walk was aimed at sensitizing the public on the need to be safety conscious in their daily activities. The NSITF head of safety emphasized the importance of safety in the workplace.
This is a day that employee to know that this is a safety day, whereby what all we are doing is the employee to know that what is working under employer to minimize the risks, the danger, the casualty, the accident at work. We sensitize and we enlighten, we educate them on how to work healthy in the environment where they are working under employer.
He urged employers to prioritize the safety of their workers and ensure that they have access to safety equipment and training.
We are here in order to promote health, safety and environment. So we are calling all the stakeholders, state government, federal government, local government, and then workers union, employee union to come together in order to promote health safety in the workplace.
The event featured safety demonstrations where some members of the community were engaged on the best practices for creating safe and a healthy work environment. Jamilu Mabai, Trust TV News, Katsina.
The purchase of second-hand goods is on the increase not only in the Federal Capital Territory but across the nation. Trust TV Kabir Lowell takes a look at the increase in purchase of second-hand goods in the FCT and what may be driving the huge patronage. Take a look.
Second-hand goods used to be an alternative for new ones, mostly among low-income earners, as they are always more affordable. Patronage was relatively low, since many Nigerians could not afford not too exorbitant new ones. However, due to the economic situation of the country, second-hand goods are now being patronized not just because they are affordable, but because the purchasing power of many Nigerians has been whittled down by inflation.
The second-hand materials presently in this country is more solid than the current materials they are importing for us now. That is why we are going into for the second-hand material products. Yes, really, because of the quality. And it's what we are doing majority, at least 80% of our products here is what we form by former iron and steel products than the new ones. Because if you watch the fabrication, it's not as standard as the former ones we used to get in our local markets.
So I will trust on the person that wants to sell it, so there's no problem with that. But like, if you don't know the person, because this life now, this Nigeria now, things are very hard somehow.
Market in the Federal Capital Territory explained that the most indigenous companies don't produce durable goods, hence the resolve by many to patronize second-hand foreign goods, which they say last longer.
So company
One of the reasons why people patronize second-hand product here is because of its quality. The quality differs and makes it stand out compared to the new ones. Some companies don't have consistency in terms of standard. That is why they go for the second-hand goods. People patronize second-hand product as a result of the economic hardship in the country. Most goods are being brought here for sale, not because it is obsolete, but due to one financial constraint being faced by the sellers. Some buyers said most times they are lucky to buy goods from those that are traveling outside the country or those that have problems that need urgent financial attention. Most people sell their goods, especially when they are traveling out of the country. The seller will call on us to estimate the amount of goods, which will of course will not be sold at exorbitant prices. And that's where we make our little stipend to keep food for me and my family. The purchase of second-hand goods, many believe, is on the increase in the country as a result of the economic hardship being faced by the people in the country. Kabir Lowell, Trust TV News, Abuja.
President-elect Bola Tinubu hosted two governors of the opposition People's Democratic Party at the Defense House in Abuja on Friday. Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike and his Oyo State counterpart Seyi Makinde held a meeting with the incoming president. The two governors were among the aggrieved G5 governors of the PDP who refused to work for former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, PDP's presidential candidate in the February 25th election won by Tinubu. They had insisted on the resignation of PDP National Chairman Dr. Iyorchia Ayu in the build-up to the general elections. A source in Tinubu's camp confirmed that the two governors met with Tinubu in Abuja but insisted the meeting had no political undertone. Also, the People's Democratic Party has called on the international community to impose a visa ban on President Muhammadu Buhari and his family over what they claimed as the Nigerian leader's role in the rigging of the 2023 presidential election. PDP's comment came a day after a statement by Garba Shehu, a presidential spokesman, quoted Buhari as saying that the opposition failed to win the exercise due to its non-tactical abilities. But in a statement by its National Publicity Secretary, Debo Ologunagba, on Friday, the PDP described Buhari's comment as unfortunate, reckless, unpresidential conduct and sub judice. While alleging that the APC rigged the election, the PDP claimed that the presidential election was marred by brazen violations of provisions of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the Electoral Act 2022, INEC regulation and guidelines, manipulation of processes, alteration of genuine results from polling units, and announcement of fabricated results. The opposition party also claimed that the election was won by its candidate Atiku Abubakar, which is why the party is already at the tribunal with the prospect of reclaiming the mandate. Also, the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, has declared that the federal government is yet to suspend the removal of petroleum subsidy, but has instead expanded the subsidy removal committee to include teams from the incoming government administration and the state governors. The minister, in a statement issued on Friday by his special advisor on media and communications, Yunusa Tanko Abdullahi, said the clarification became imperative following reports that the government had suspended the planned removal of subsidy. The National Economic Council had on Thursday advised the government to shelve subsidy removal until all preparatory plans with various segments of government, including states and the incoming administration, are concluded. It stressed that the NEC deliberated on the issue extensively and came to the conclusion that subsidy must be removed as it is non-negotiable. You're watching News Hour on Trust TV. We'll be back shortly.
Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Welcome back. You're still watching News Hour on Trust TV. Let's now join Chiamaka Nwafo for business news.
The exchange rate between the Naira and the US dollar traded flat at 740 Naira per dollar at the block market on Friday. The exchange rate between the Naira and the US dollar has remained relatively steady at the block market, especially following the Naira crunch in the Nigerian economy. On the other hand, Naira depreciated against the pound by 1.08% to trade at an average of 935 Naira per pound on Friday, in contrast to 925 Naira per pound that was recorded in the previous day's trading session. Also, Naira fell against the euro, trading at an average of 810 Naira per euro on Friday, representing a depreciation of 0.62% compared to 805 Naira per euro recorded on Thursday. The African Development Bank Group on Friday announced the 13-month debarment of SARL with effect from 11th April 2023. Societe Bel Mabrouk del Trouvo El Investimento is a limited liability company registered under the laws of Tunisia. An investigation conducted by the bank's Office of Integrity and Anti-Corruption established that SARL engaged in fraudulent practices in the context of a tender for procurement of construction work for the Morova Bogo Post section under the Transport Sector Support Program Phase 2 in Cameroon. The Transport Sector Support Program is aimed at the rehabilitation of the Yaoundé Bafoussam Babadjou Road and the development of the Morova, Bogo Post and Grand Zambi Kribi roads. During the debarment period, SARL will be ineligible to participate in bank group finance projects and activities. And finally, in stocks. At the end of today's trading on the Nigerian Stock Exchange, a total of 472.13 million shares in 5,569 deals, corresponding to a market value of 4.77 billion naira, were traded. The current market capitalization of the Nigerian Stock Exchange is 28.5 trillion naira, while the benchmark NGX All-Share Index rose 0.32% to close at 52,403.51 points. In the aggregate, 106 NGS listed equities participated in trading, ending with 24 gainers and 27 losers. Sovereign Trust Insurance led the gainers with 10% share price appreciation, while on the losing side, Catex came up last with an end-of-day price depreciation of 10%. And that's it on Business News. I am Chiamaka Nwafo.
Thank you, Chiamaka, for business news. Moving on, the federal government says about 7,000 nationals, including Nigerians, are stranded at the Egyptian border on their way from Sudan. This is according to the chairman CEO of the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, NIDCOM, Honorable Abike Dabiri-Erewa. A Friday statement by Gabriel Odu of the Media, Public Relations and Protocols Unit of NIDCOM quoted Dabiri-Erewa as expressing concern over the plight of those affected. The appeal is coming days after the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Geoffrey Oyema, said the federal government hired 40 buses at $1.2 million for the evacuation of Nigerians from the war-torn North African country. Since then, some Nigerians stranded in Sudan have reached Egypt from where they would be taken back home, a fact corroborated by the NIDCOM boss. In the wake of the development, the Nigerian Air Force said it will start the airlifting of Nigerian evacuees from Egypt on Friday. It also said plans have been finalized to airlift all Nigerians that have already escaped on their own to safety in other countries neighboring Sudan. On the foreign scene, the Kenyan commander of the East African Community Regional Force deployed to halt the advancement of an armed group in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo has resigned. In his resignation letter, Major General Jeff Nyaga said he was leaving because of concerns for his safety after consistent harassment by forces he described as mercenaries. He also spoke about the impact of well-orchestrated and financed negative media campaigns against him personally, but also making false accusations about the regional forces' alleged complacency in its handling of the M23 militia. The group took up arms in 2021, conquering large swathes of territory in the Democratic Republic of Congo's North Kivu province. Kinshasa accuses neighboring Rwanda of supporting the M23, a claim corroborated by United Nations experts and Western countries, although Kigali denies it. There are thousands of soldiers, including from Kenya, Uganda, Burundi and South Sudan in the East African Peacekeeping Force. They are tasked with trying to calm deadly tensions fueled by armed groups in the region where the embattled population is impatient for effective peace. The Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo has been plagued by violence from multiple armed groups for nearly 30 years. The East African community has been attempting to bring about peace in the province. A quick break now, and we'll be right back. Welcome back. The Inspector General of Police, IGP Usman Alkali Baba, has congratulated the Nigeria Police Force multi-dexterous combat athlete PC Juliet Uka following a successful professional training tour and her win against South Africa's Crystal Van Wyk, who until the bout was undefeated in Extreme Fighting Championship EFC 102. IGP Alkali Baba's congratulatory message was contained in a statement by Force Public Relations Officer Olumuyiwa Adejobi. The fight, which took place on Thursday, 13th April 2023 in Johannesburg, South Africa, was a 3-round bout, and Juliet showed all-round superiority to emerge the winner by unanimous decision of 30-26, 30-26 and 30-27. Juliet also went on to defeat Claudia Vochong Shivabo of Cameroon on Saturday, 22nd April 2023. PC Juliet is one of 2 police female MMA fighters recently released by IGP Usman Alkali Baba for a 6-week professional training tour in Thailand. Also, human line judges will be replaced by an electronic calling system on a full-time basis on the ATP Tour from 2025. The ATP, which is the men's tennis governing body, said the move will optimize accuracy and consistency in events. Some tournaments have already scraped human line judges, including the majors at the Australian Open and US Open. The electronic calling system has been widely adopted since the COVID-19 pandemic, when tournaments looked to minimize human interaction. It will be implemented across all surfaces on the ATP Tour, although the 4 Grand Slam tournaments continue to make their own decisions. Wimbledon played on grass, and the clay court French Open have been reluctant to remove human judgment. While Wimbledon allows players to challenge decisions using the Hawkeye system, the French Open has so far refused to introduce technology assistance. Also, the Boston Celtics are through to the Eastern Conference playoff semifinals after a thrilling 128-120 victory over the Atlanta Hawks. Jaylen Brown scored 32 points and Jason Tatum added 30 as the Celtics won the best-of-7 series 4-2. They will face the Philadelphia 76ers, who completed a 4-0 series sweep of the Brooklyn Nets last weekend. The Celtics are the top seeds left in their conference after the Miami Heat's shock win over the Milwaukee Bucks. In a contest featuring 22 lead changes, Trae Young, whose late three-pointer sealed victory for the Hawks in the previous game, scored 30 points with 10 assists. However, just 5 of those points came in the second half as Atlanta faded as the game wore on. A run of 11 unanswered points in the fourth quarter, including 3 straight three-pointers from Brown Tatum and Al Horford, saw the Celtics take a grip on the game that proved decisive. Game 1 of the Celtics semi-final against the 76ers takes place in Boston on Monday. Let's now join Adeniyi Ajisafe for more on Sports News.
The first edition of Abuja International Marathon will take place on Saturday, 29 April 2023 at the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, where 32 international and 120 Nigerian runners will compete for $110,000 in categories of $55,000 for male and female. The marathon race will be in 3 categories: 5-kilometer student race, 10-kilometer family run, and the 42.195 full marathon race. Traditional dancers were on hand to make the press briefing on the International Marathon tick with their various traditional tunes and dancing skills to the admiration of guests. While talking on the benefits of engaging in marathon race, Warri Efuru Marathon chief organizer Joyce Bozimo said marathon is as an enduring race foster peace and harmony among runners with much health benefit to human body.
It helps us build up good structures in every way. I went into it because I wanted people to live in peace and in harmony, friendship, peaceful coexistence among all ethnic groups. And I think marathon does that.
The student 5-kilometer race will start from Zone 4 Bridge, while the 10-kilometer family fun race at Wuye Bridge, all terminating at Eagle Square. Organizers believe harmonizing sport and tourism will show Nigeria to the world through the race in the FCT, as expressed by John Shitu.
This is a Nigerian project. It's not a state project. So that's why we are appealing to you, the media, to promote it as a project for all of us, not just for Unicentral or GLS as the marketing consultant. Yeah, it's for all of us to promote our country.
Race director Oluwakayode Thomas, while highlighting the Abuja Marathon route and the breakdown of prize money, said it is important to show the beauty of the FCT to the world.
What we are trying to do is to showcase the best part of FCT to a global audience. Because if you are just running, you could have just run from a city gate to Gogolanda, but we are taking you through up the most beautiful part of Abuja, the landmark, the National Assembly, the Azo Villa, the National Assembly, Federal Secretariat, Eagle Square, the best part of Abuja. So we want the world to see our city, and it is what you know that you see and you want to come and experience. So the essence of this race is to sell Abuja to the world.
Elite runners from Uganda, Kenya, Ethiopia and Bahrain, including 120 elite Nigerian athletes who race for honors at the first Abuja International Marathon. That's Sport News. I'm Adeniyi Ajisafe.
Thanks to Adeniyi for Sports News. Now, before we go, here's a kicker. From cultivating their sporting muscle to reaping the full benefits of extended branding for tourism and business, more African countries are partnering with European football clubs. Malawi is the latest to sign a partnership deal. Take a look.
This is a great opportunity for Club Deportivo Leganés to reach out into Africa to develop talent and to develop relationships and to continue to internationalize the brand of Leganés.
With our partnership with Leganese Club, it's going to help us because it's in the plan that at least they should develop a sports complex where we can bring in young talents, where they can be trained, equipped, and then they should be able to be exposed even into international soccer. So that would help us to a great deal.
It's an honor for Malawi to be working with Club Deportivo Leganés. The history of Leganés is a fantastic history. Look at 95 years of the club existing. And I think if you look at football itself, the Spanish league is heavily regarded across the globe. And this is a great opportunity for Malawi.
We're looking forward to spending time in Malawi, looking for and developing young athletes that can someday play on the first team here in Leganés.
With that, we've come to the end of News Hour on Trust TV. Do well to follow us across all our media platforms. I'm Sagir Ibrahim, and on behalf of the crew, good night.
From the Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.